What's up, everyone? Welcome back to SANDCAST. We're going to do a kind of a quick update on where the World Championships standings are at the moment. We're kind of at that midpoint through the qualifying process for Adelaide, which is where the World Championships will be. That will be in early to mid-November. I believe the dates are November 14th through 23rd. Before we get to that, just want to say a quick shout out to all the dads out there. Happy Father's Day for all of you guys. A super huge Father's Day for Andre Perisic, winning his second gold medal this season and winning a gold medal on his Father's Day debut. His kid is 1 month old. I was chatting with him in Ostrava, and he said, "Man, this is the first time I've slept in weeks." I said, "Buddy, I get it." So happy Father's Day to all you dads out there, and for all the college kids watching, a happy post-recruitment Sunday. It's yesterday, Sunday, June 15th, was a really exciting time for them. That's when all the college coaches could officially begin talking to them and offer spots on their rosters for all the 2027 kids. So wherever you guys end up, congratulations. It's just the start of your journey. And for all of you guys who end up in Florida State, we're stoked to have you here. Go Noles. But getting to the World Champs discussion. So the reason I wanted to do this now is because I think that the challenges in Alanya, Turkey, and next week's in Poland, Stare Jablonki, one of the most popular favorite stops on tour for quite some time, they might be two of the most important events for so many teams. So you got your top rank, your big dogs, your Anders Mols, Christian Sorums, your Swedens, your Kristen Nuss, Taryn Close, that sort of top 10 tier, they're okay. Qualifying for World Champs is not nearly as difficult as qualifying for the Olympics. Olympics, you got to be top 16 over a year and a half using your best 12. World Champs, you have to be top 25 in the world, beginning with the first event of the year that was in Yucatan, Mexico, up through a challenge in Mexico that will end October 5th. So you're using your best 6 finishes from that time period. So what makes 2 random challenges in June super important? Well, these events will set you up entry points wise later in the year. So these entry points are going to decide whether you get into the Montreal and Hamburg elite. And then those finishes are going to determine whether you get into a critical finishing stretch in Brazil, where there will be a challenge. That city is still to determined in early September. And then you get back-to-back elites in Joao Pessoa and Rio. Now, by that time, if you still really need that finish in Mexico, you're not in great shape anyway. But these events are going to put you in position, essentially, to get into Hamburg and Montreal in August, and those events will then put you in position to qualify and be in good shape for that finishing stretch at the end of the year. So that's why when Chase Budinger and Miles Evans, they took a 5th. Is that a dream finish? No, it's not a dream finish, but it is good enough. So that was their back-to-back 5th place finish, and that puts them, I believe they are number 13 in the World Champs standings. Now that's their 6th finish, so they're just going to start dropping and recycling. So anytime you get a finish better than your previous worst, you push that one out, you take in the new one. And Chase and Miles, they had a rough start to the year, missed out on the qualifier in Quintana Roo, didn't play great in Yucatan, struggled, and now they're back-to-back 5ths. They're in pretty good shape. The USA men are actually in pretty good shape all across the board. Andy Benesh, Miles, Partain, they're technically down in the ranks. Let's see where they're at. They're actually not even in the top 25. And that's just because they haven't really played. But they're sitting on a really good finish in Ostrava, got a 5th there. They got a 9th in Brasilia, and they're just going to be able to play elites. I have no doubt that they're going to be all right. Now, they're risking it a little bit. I think that if they wanted to play it safe, they would throw in a challenge here and there, maybe throw in that challenge in Brazil in September. But the tough part about that is if you say you play a challenge and you don't do well, now your entry points get kind of screwed because the points and challenges are pretty rough. So if you're straight into elites, which is what Andy and Miles are, and Chaim, Schalk, and James Shaw are, you just want to play elites essentially, unless you need that extra finish, a little insurance event for World Champs. That said, if you're straight into elites and you're getting, even if you're just barbecuing out, you're still getting okay points. But Andy and Miles, they don't have a ton of margin for error. Still think that they won't have a problem. But Perisic and Schweiner, they're a defending 2023 World Champs. They just pretty much locked up their spots. They got a win at the Yucatan Challenge, a 5th at the Quintana Roo Elite, bronze medal in Ostrava, and a gold medal here in Alanya, Turkey. Coincidentally, both bronze medalists from Ostrava. the Czech Republic, and the Verger de Prés, it's just their world, we're living in it, Anouk and Zoe, they both won gold in Alanya. And now Anouk and Zoe, they jumped from number 10 to number 5 in the World Championships race. To me, they are a lock, a Sharpie, you could say. Another reason that I wanted to do this right now at this point in the year is because the USA women's race is even more fascinating than it otherwise would have been. So you have your 3 locks, I think. You got Kristen and Taryn, and it's Taryn Brasher, not Taryn Cloth. I'm going to make that mistake all year long. Sorry, Taryn. Then you got Kelly Chang, Molly Shaw. I think they're a lock. And you have Therese Cannon, Megan Kraft. I think they're a lock. Now, that 4th spot was looking in a good position for Tony Rodriguez and Kylie DeBerg. Tony got hurt at the AVP League stop in San Diego. I don't know the prognosis of her injury. I don't know what the timeline looks like, but it's not looking great. They've had to pull out of a couple of events, so I don't know when her return to play is. Now, that opened the door for a number of other teams. We saw 3 teams this weekend in Alanya miss out on a pretty good chance to make up some points. So you had Haley Harward, Molly Phillips. They had a huge first-round playoff win over Daniela Alvarez, Tanya Moreno. They bowed out in 9th. Deanna Kraft, Zalani Hodel. They were straight in the main draw. Win pull straight into those 9th place rounds. They bowed out in 9th. Kim Hildreth, Tegan Van Gunst. They've been straight into Elite 16s, or Elites is the new name. They took a 17th. Maddie Mae Anderson and Brooke Bauer. They didn't make it out of the qualifier. And then you had Savvy Simo, Abby Van Winkle coming off a 4th place finish in China. Big finish for them. That's the only reason that they were straight into the main draw. In next week's challenge in Poland, they come out of the qualifier. They also have an opportunity to get into the quarterfinals. They bow out in 9th. So a lot of USA women failed to capitalize on that missed opportunity. So to me, sitting in the driver's seat for that 4th USA women's spot is Julia Donlin and Lexi Denneberg. Now, they've had a bit of an up and down season. They've had really high highs and some lower lows. They've lost in a couple qualifiers. They've also won an AVP League qualifying event. They've gotten dead last in Huntington Beach AVP Heritage, which they only lost a single match. Single limb's kind of hard to make a judgment on, but I think that they're sitting in the driver's seat there because they have great entry points moving forward. They don't really have to play challenges right now. But that 4th spot's wide open. And we have a lot of events. They added that challenge in Baden, Austria. They added a challenge in Brazil in July. So Stade and Stare Jablonki are going to be 2 really important events setting teams up for the rest of summer, which is really going to set everyone up for that final finishing push in Brazil in September, and then that last kind of do or die tournament in Mexico. Now, the Verger de Prés, they jumped up 5 spots. What's really interesting for the women's side is that Valentina Gottardi and Reka Orsi Toth, they are currently number 3, but number 4 is Valentina and Claudia Scampoli, and also in the top 10 technically is Reka and Giada Bianchi. So they're kind of hogging up those spots. Now, I didn't actually, you can find the rankings on SANDCASTvolleyball.com. I didn't actually put the double ups in there because they're not real teams, but if something were to happen to, say, Valentina, Reka could scoop up Giada and she would be in good shape. So in a way, Italy is, I think, unintentionally hedged their bets. But I just wanted to give kind of a quick lay of the land of the World Championships landscape. So again, it's the top 25 teams using your best 6 finishes. And I did this right now because Turkey and Poland, really important events, but also because we're starting to get a landscape that makes a little bit of sense in that a lot of teams are starting to hit those 6 finishes. We're starting to see what their average finish is right now, what they need to do to move up, what they need to do not to go down. And so if you have any questions, comments, sort of projections, always happy to engage with you guys in the comments. Comment section on the hand setting videos, predictably, they were entertaining and I enjoyed reading up and watching the discussion. Thank you guys for all participating in that community engagement. Again, happy Father's Day to everyone. Happy extra Father's Day to the gold medalist, Father Andre Perisic. Well done in your first Father's Day debut, and congratulations to all the college kids per usual. If you want to get any of this SANDCAST merch, SANDCASTvolleyball.com, just hit that merch tab. Get you all kinds of t-shirts, blankets, sweatshirts, got it all. So until next time, on Wednesday, by the way, we got Rob Gray, the sort of father of the modern coaching movement and ecological dynamics. He's coming up on Wednesday. Really excited about that one, so be on the lookout for that. And until next time, shoots.